Good day, everyone. This report contains the Module 27, which is the synthesis of physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development of a prenatal period. Before anything else, I want you to know what are the learning outcomes of this report, which is first, you will be able to summarize key features of physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development during the prenatal period. And second is how to apply pedagogical principles in the development process during the prenatal period. So let's first talk about the physical development. Nature and nurture are both important in the development of all stages of human life. Nurture, that is environmental factors such as good nutritional intake by the mother and avoidance of toxins, significantly affect prenatal health. Nature or genes that may cause disorder also influence prenatal development. We start as a single cell that contains all the genetic information that we will need for our entire life. From that single cell, 350 different cell types will be formed prior to birth. Prenatal development spans three stages. Gestation begins with conception and lasts until the fertilized egg is implanted in the uterus around 2 weeks. The embryonic stage marks the development of the major organs and limbs 2 weeks to 10 weeks after conception. The fetal stage lasts from 11th week to birth. During this stage, the development of all organs continues and fetus grows in size and weight. Environmental factors pose risk at different stages of development. For example, the embryo is particularly vulnerable to effect of German measles, rubella. The mother's infection by the virus during the first month of pregnancy leads to an almost 50% chance of infant blindness or brain damage. The percentage drops to 22% if contracted in the second month and deceased thereafter. So let's move on to the cognitive development that talks about executive function, refers to a variety of interdependent skills that are necessary to perform goal-directed activities such as making plans and purposefully integrating past knowledge and present information. It had it had been believed that such skills were expressed until later in our development, such as during adolescence. However, evidence indicates that cognition begins to develop as early as in the womb. Our cognitive development is influenced by our prenatal environment. A healthy fetus requires oxygen, protein, and micronutrients. Conversely, the absorption of toxins such as alcohol, lead, and tobacco can have negative neurological effects that last a lifetime. The baby's physical environment has the strongest effect on its prenatal development. There is no evidence that non-physical stimuli such as exposing the baby to classical music in utero will raise a child's IQ. And lastly, as what I've researched, socio-emotional development as infants develop, emotional expressions become better organized, partly due to caregivers' supportive backing. Throughout the first 2 years, infants become progressively capable of understanding their own and others' emotion, engaging in purposed communication, and sharing deliberately with others. And socio-emotional development during infancy and early childhood has been described as the emerging capacity of the child to experience, control, and express feelings. From close and secure interpersonal connections, investigate the environment, and learn, all in the setting of family, society, and cultural anticipations. So let's move on to Cluster 1, which is the principle referring to cognitive and metacognitive factors. So the learner-centered principles explains that the learning of complex subject is matter most effective when it is an intentional process of constructing meaning from information and experience. The motor learning skills and habits, which is along with the ability to feel, see, and hear, comes from the capacity of unconsciously learn and recall memories or remember. So let's move on to how is the principle applied in the prenatal development. Enhancing that by listening to the right music and reading stories that benefit him can work wonders in his development. And also cognitive and metacognitive factors, listening to the mother's voice or stories help him strengthen those connections. Repetition is a proven form of constructing meaning from information and memorization, and it develops memory and experience. The motor learning skills and concentration power in the babies. So let's go on to the chapter 2, which is the principles referring to motivational and affective factors. The learner-centered principle explains that the motivation to learn, in return, is influenced by the individual's emotional states, beliefs, interests, goals, and habits of thinking. Positive thinking can shape the body, heal eternally, and even nurture a healthier child during pregnancy. So let's go on to how is this principle applied in prenatal development. Creative visualization. This form of mental imagery can program one's subconscious thoughts, changing perceptions and responses. Motivational and affective factors, from negative to positive, it can also help cure motivational and emotional influences on disease, enhance performance, and improve state of mind.